Vincent Deluard joins us, Director of Global Macro Strategy at StoneX Group. But Vincent, you're not just thinking about maybe the disinflation, you're thinking about hangovers, a Christmas hangover, a Thanksgiving hangover, a Taylor Swift hangover.
Yes, it's post-Thanksgiving, so we are all feeling a bit bloated, maybe hangover. I use the expression Taylor Swift hangover to describe what's happening now, which is a slowdown, if you will. I mean, we had this gangbuster, almost 5% GDP print in Q3, and we are seeing from a bunch of economic data, whether it's on labor market, whether it's on the new home sales, the PMI, we are seeing signs that the economy is indeed slowing down. Now the question is slowing down enough to cause a recession, as many expect? I'm not in that camp yet, but I'm open to seeing how things develop.
Okay. How did the French do Thanksgiving, Vincent? You guys go big?
I've become American last summer. The whole thing with turkey, and as with every Thanksgiving, I'm like, it's not good food. Turkey is really not good. Why do we keep doing this year after year?
Well, that's why we only do it once a year.
Yes.
It's a little, self-inflicted masochism. All right, so what do we look for then? Because one of the things you and I talked about that you hit really good in the middle of this year and in the second half was the inflation resurgence. You're talking about some of that kind of tied to the Taylor Swift travel. We just saw pretty good travel numbers again this past weekend. The consumer numbers are pretty good for Black Friday. Does that put any risk to the disinflation trend? Because the market seems to be very confident still that whatever we saw was short-lived.
Yeah, I think more than the Black Friday spending, what I'd be looking for in long-term inflation is really what's going on with wages and with strikes. And I think this is really the key battle for 2024 is whether we'll see these an acceleration of these strikes and big pay increases across the board. I mean, we saw it in the airline company, we saw it with the casino workers, we saw it with the Hollywood writers. It's, in my view, this is really a secular thing that is somewhat underreported. And that might contribute, by the way, to the resilience of spending. People just got big pay raises or think they are going to get big pay raises, and as a result, maybe splurge a little bit. But when it comes to, basically the question for the Fed is, was that 3% the low, or are we going to keep going below? And if we keep seeing wages going up by like 4 or 5% the way we have it, my expectation is that we will not see inflation fall back to 2%, but instead kind of bounce around that 3-4% level where they are, which in my opinion is not a big problem. I actually think we can very well reset to an economy with 3-4% inflation.
And Vincent, thinking about the signs that's coming, I mean, is it really about the labor breakdown? Because so far it's held in. I mean, we've got the creep higher for jobless claims, certainly, but to what extent do you expect to see meaningful rollover in employment? What's our timeline for that?
I generally think the labor market is tight, secularly tight, and we may get the odd economic report like the jobless claim that shows a little blip. But we had these before, never led to anything. I mean, keep in mind that what really matters is the number of jobs we create, not necessarily the unemployment rate. I know there's a lot of focus on the SAM rule and the unemployment rate rising from like 3.7 to 3.9, which is almost nothing. At the end of the day, it's about the jobs that are being created, and we're still looking at $150,000 monthly pace of job creation and rising participation. The fact that participation has recovered almost to the pre-COVID level tells me that workers have a lot of bargaining power. So I think what we're more likely to see is a continuation of these big pay increases. I mean, workers have a lot of leverage. If you work in American Airlines right now and you threaten a strike during the holiday season, and let's say 3 months ago, United just gave a 20% pay raise to pilot. Yeah, you're going to get that pay increase. And I think we'll see that across more and more sectors. And then only very slowly we'll see degradation in the labor market. I think the first area to watch for this degradation is going to be construction. With this new home sales data, we saw that finally the real estate market, which has been very, very resilient, might be slowing down. But it's still going to take at least, I think, 6 months till we see losses in the construction sector, and then maybe another 6 months till we see broad losses in employment, which again pushes the timing of this recession out and gives time for workers to get these big pay increases.
Okay, we've only got about 2 minutes. I want to make sure that I understand that linkage real quick, which is that, well, firstly, it sounds like, to summarize more broadly, recession to you looks more like a 2025 issue than a 2024 issue, so you're not in your head, so that seems like good summary. The connection between the wages going up, the stickiness of wage growth, and the weakness in the construction labor, you're just saying it's going to get unaffordable to build houses, basically, based on labor? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think this is the affordability has always been a problem. The construction sector is really just a function of interest rates at this point and lags. We had this extraordinary resilience of new home construction in large part because of rate buy downs. Right? Home builders were footing the cost of these higher interest rates, and with the increase in yields last September, October, this is going to be a lot harder, and we are finally getting to the point where construction is rolling over, new home sales are weaker than expected, and eventually that will lead into losses in the construction sector, which typically lead overall employment by 6 months. So that's where I got to that, early 2025, possibly for recession. That still puts me, I think there's still this timing issue where if you look at rate cut expectation, that's for mid to early 2024. I don't think that's realistic. I think most economists still overestimate the slowdown and underestimate the factors of resilience in this economy.
Understood. Vincent, always like the process. Appreciate you taking us through it. And happy holidays. And we will see you maybe once before the year ends. If not, we'll chat soon regardless. Thanks, Vincent.
Thank you very much.
Vincent Deluard, Director of Global Macro Strategy. All right, continuing to expect the rate story to remain elevated and a recession that doesn't quite hit as early as what the market is currently pricing in.